Welcome to part 2. And I will be starting with Clayton Kershaw. He has spent 10 years in the major leagues, all with the Dodgers. He's from Dallas, Texas, where the 2020 World Series was played. And he led the league in 2015 with innings pitched, wins in 2014 and 21. In 2017, he led in wins yet again with 18. I guess it was a bad pitching year. And ERA career is 2.36, which is phenomenal. This guy will be a Hall of Famer. Next up, Cub, Anthony Rizzo. He is from Parkland, Florida, and he was acquired in a trade with the Padres. The Padres, man! You could have had this guy for longer. And he played 160 games in 2015 with the Cubs. And in 2016, he batted .292. That was their World Series championship year. Christian Yelich with Miami, last season with Miami, was in 2017, and this card was printed before the season, and he was drafted by them, of course, and he actually hit into the last out of a no-hitter. And he's on the Brewers now, won MVP. 1 year. Jose Reyes, longtime vet with the Mets. He played a season for the Blue Jays and for the Rockies, and then came back to the Mets in 2016, 1 year after their World Series run. Sorry, I'm about to say championship. National League championship. And he was acquired versus free agency. He was drafted by the Mets in 1999. Let's move on to the next card. Adam Jones, Oriole. He was acquired in a trade with the Mariners. And he has a career home runs, this is in 2018, of 251. That's before the 2018 season, so he's not bad. 251. He could become a part of the 300 home run club. RBIs, he's at 815, so he can get 1,000 RBIs too. Luis Severino, he's a star when he's not injured. He is from the Dominican Republic, and he is ready. He would start the 2018 wildcard game. Didn't have a good outing, but he's still young. Even now in 2020, he's still young. Jackie Bradley Jr., Red Sox outfielder, got a great glove. And his defense is his forte, as it says on the back of this card. Next up is Pirates outfielder Gregory Polanco. And Gregory actually made a mistake against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He tripped in the outfield and allowed a walk-off single by Matt Scherzer. I think that's how you pronounce it. I may be wrong. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who surprisingly looks exactly like Chris Taylor. Jose Abreu won the 2020 MVP, had a great season. He started off strong, then this year and a few years prior and a few years after 2019, he was a little slow. He led the league in slugging in his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year. And now we came back for the 2020 season prepared. Ty Block, not much to say on him. He's one of those players that not a lot of people know, unless you're like a Giants fan. He was acquired via draft, and he's from Colorado. Not too much I gotta say on him. Scooter Gennett tied the game in the 10th inning of the 2018 wild card game. And he started out with the Brewers with 6 home runs in his first and third seasons and 9 in that season. And then with the Reds in 2017, 27. So the Reds got a good pickup. He was acquired off of waivers too, which is like a trade they do after the deadline. So they actually legalized that, so you can't do any waivers trades because it's sort of a loophole by the trade deadline. So you can actually, I mean, I guess you can make a mutual agreement. I'm going to drop this guy, you're going to drop that guy, and then we'll sign them for the same contracts. But no one, it's too complicated. No one's really done that yet. Here's Hisashi Iwakuma. I think I pronounced that pretty well. Seattle Mariners starting pitcher. He came pretty close to a no-hitter a few times. He was hurt last year, so not too much I got on him. Carlos Santana. Now, he actually played for the Philadelphia Phillies this season, but then in 2019 came back and played for the Indians and participated in the Home Run Derby in the All-Star game that was at Cleveland in 2019. He was a big part of their postseason runs, and they made it to the World Series against the Cubs, lost in Game 7 in extra innings. And he led the league in walks in 2014 with 113, which is a high number of walks. Adeiny Hechavarria, been bounced all around the place as of late. Funny fact is his Twitter account is Adeiny3, and his Instagram account is Adeiny11. So obviously he's had multiple numbers. Daniel Norris, not a great deal I know about him, but he played for the Blue Jays and then was acquired with a trade with the Tigers and is now a Tigers pitcher. J.A. Happ actually made this All-Star game. I was fortunate enough to get his autograph, and I was excited to get it. And now he plays for the New York Yankees. He's pitched in a few of their postseason games. Starling Castro. He was a New York Yankee here. Then he went to the Miami Marlins. Before, he was on the Cubs. A little story I'll tell you about that. And now he's with the Nationals. And he broke his wrist, unfortunately, in this 2020 season. And is out for the year. They didn't make the postseason. He would have been ready for the post, but they didn't make it. So he's healthy now, obviously, in November. And the story about him I was going to tell you is that he scored the run on the Gregory Polanco trip that I was talking about earlier when Gregory Polanco's card came up. It's on a bunch of baseball highlights. If you go and watch that, you'll see it, like mishaps in the outfield, stuff like that. Dylan Bundy, now with the Los Angeles Angels, he's been like supposedly their best pitcher, but he hasn't really been that good of a pitcher. And yeah, the Orioles need some help. Brett Phillips. Now, he played with the Royals and the Rays in his 2020 season. And if you know the game and you're watching the World Series, you would know that this guy was a hero to the Brewers. Rays, he got a walk-off. And he wasn't even active for the NLCS. And he was the man who made the acrostic poem for Randy Rosarena, who was a beast. And the acrostic poem was Rakes All Day, Night, Year. Search it up. You'll find it. Zach Godley, here he's with Arizona now. He's on the Boston Red Sox. And not much to say about him. He was acquired with a trade by the Cubs. And, yeah. He cut his ERA in half from 6.39 to 3.37. So that's not bad. Ichiro Suzuki, known as Ichiro to everybody. He got 3,000 hits, and he overtook Rod Carew for the most by a non-U.S. born player. And now he's the second Second oldest player to belt a pinch hit home run. It's all in the facts right here. I'm not making that stuff up, and I'm not reciting it. I'm not perfect. And he's got a 55.6 career WAR. Matt Schumacher, Angels pitcher. Not much to say about him. He was acquired as a free agent. He was signed by the Angels as a free agent. So, and he's from Trenton, Michigan. He's height 6'2", throws right, bats right, weight 225. Nothing much I really got to say. Roberto Ozuna, now he's a closer for the Houston Astros, missed out on the postseason because of an injury this year in 2020, but was a big part of 2018-2019 postseasons. Whit Merrifield, we know he almost got the hits record. He had like 31 games in a row with a hit, and that's really good. And he had 34 stolen bases to lead the American League last year. Alex Colomé, White Sox pitcher, had a good season this year in 2020. And he led the league in saves in 2017, the year prior to this. Same thing with Whit Merrifield. That was just not 2019, but 2000 on the card last year, 2017. Remember, this is the 2018 set. Justin Upton and his brother BJ and himself are from Norfolk, Virginia, which I pass quite often to go to my beach house in the Outer Banks. As you see my sweatshirt. And let me do a flip because it's a certain order, like I said in my part 1 video. Nomar Mazara of the Texas Rangers. He's actually got a huge home run. I believe he was the man that hit one over 500 feet. Check me if I'm wrong. It may not be Nomar. It could be someone else on the Rangers, but someone on the Rangers, other than Joey Gallo, hit one over 500 feet, left-handed hitter. So, check me on that. Jake Odorizzi, now he's a Twins pitcher. Before he was with the Rays and the Royals organization. And his Twitter account is simply just Jake Odorizzi. Miguel Cabrera, and everybody knows about him. First base, he was converted to first base when he got a little older. He used to play with the Marlins, and people may know him for getting an RBI on an intentional walk attempt because against the Orioles, because the Orioles pitcher just lobbed it in there and it wasn't far enough outside, and Miguel hit it to right center. And in 2000 and I believe 2012, I believe, was his Triple Crown year. 2012, I was right. I didn't even look. It's on this card here. They show 2013 season is the oldest season they show on these cards. I like the cards better that have all the seasons played, especially for the old long-time players, because you get to see it from the 90s and stuff. It's really cool. James Paxton on the Yankees, left-handed pitcher. He's pretty good. Was with the Mariners. And he's from British Columbia, Canada as well. Lots of people from Canada. It is the second biggest country by area. Francisco Lindor, Mr. Smile. Not much to say about him. I mean, he's a great player. Everybody knows that. And his Twitter and Instagram accounts have BC in it. And a story that was told on MLB Network was he puts BC on everything because his father told him when he was young, be consistent. That was his main goal. And he wanted to become a dentist at one point in his life. That's why he's known as Mr. Smile. And he smiles all the time as well. Jose Perella. He's inquired of the trade in the Yankees. I mean, he's one of the guys that not a lot of people know about. He is height 6 foot, weight 220. He's from Venezuela. Now this guy, a lot more people know for his great defensive work, and with the Reds, Billy Hamilton. I believe this is the year he played with the Royals with a trade, and he was acquired via draft. He's from Taylorsville, Missouri. Center fielder. Great range. He's been with a few other organizations as of lately. Cameron Rupp, catcher for the Phillies. Haven't heard much of him lately. Not quite sure what happened to him, as I know he's not the backup for the Phillies. I'm not sure what really happened to him. So if anybody knows, comment on this video. I'll be happy to reply. Wilson Contreras, kind of spoken for himself. He's a great catcher from Venezuela. What I say about the great catchers are in my part 1 video. And he had 34 doubles in Tennessee minor league, which is a lot for a catcher, especially not being that fast. He was thrown out on a great throw from Matt Joyce in the wild card round, as the Cubs were the number 3 seed, winning the division in the NL Central. Sorry. AJ Ramos, pitcher for the New York Mets, played for the Marlins. Haven't really heard much from him as of late. And he was a closer for the Marlins. Now it's like I said, not really heard much from him lately about him. Mike Fultonetwich, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I do, but I might butcher it. So was the ace for a time. Now it's more of Mike Soroka, Max Fried in there as an ace. Wasn't playing 2020. Wasn't that great. In the last appearance he had, which was, everybody knows, the big 25 run game, 13 to 1 or 3 that they lost in Game 5 to the Cardinals. Chris Davis, he was kind of quiet for a couple of seasons, and then in the post this year, he came in and had a good series against the Astros. I believe he had 3 home runs in 4 games, which is crazy good. You might say, that's not that great. It is. You gotta realize that these guys, that's 400 feet. Let's just say the average home run is 380 feet. 380 feet with a wooden bat. A lot of people, they used the metal bats and call up till the minor leagues. Wooden bats, they don't go very far. They do not go very far at all from an average person. These guys are incredibly strong. Mitch Moreland, Boston Red Sox here. He was acquired with a free agency from the Rangers. And he was traded over to the Padres this season and helped them in their postseason run, which they won the Wild Card Series, got swept by the Dodgers, but the Dodgers won it all, so they have an excuse, I guess. And they were a young team. Next year, I expect them to be a lot better. Definitely going to be in the wild card. Depending on how the Dodgers play out, depending on what they get, what they lose with the bullpen, kind of bullpen they have. This short season, they can let their starting pitching and early bullpen kind of carry it for them. But your late bullpen's got to be good if you're going to win games in the regular 162 season. Aaron Nola, great pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. Cy Young contention for the last 2 years. That's all I got to really say about him. Not a big Phillies fan. John Lester, he was in Cy Young contention in 2017, and it was won by Max Scherzer, the Cy Young Award. And him and his buddy from the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks. And in the Cubs' year of, World Series winning year, he had a 2.44 ERA. which is amazing. Sorry, not 2017 for contention. He was in there for 2016 with a 2.44 ERA. And he played for numerous teams, notably with the Red Sox. Andrew McCutchen, he's been on the Pirates, this is his last season with the Pirates, before he's traded to the Giants. And the Giants, then he was given to the Yankees for a year, and now he's with the Phillies. Led the league in OPS in 2014. He's played 9 years up to this point, 2018, in the big leagues. Alex Avila, not really much to say on him. He used to play for the Tigers. He was in a few playoffs. And that's about it. Not really much to say about him. Nothing. Not any cool facts I know. Same with this Luis Perdomo. San Diego. He played for Palm Beach in Florida. He was acquired from the Rockies. He signed with the Cardinals, so he's bounced around. Been in a few trades. Zach Cozart, he made the All-Star game in I believe the year before this, 2017. And played with the Reds his whole career until this year. I think he was traded. I forgot where. I'm sorry. Please comment in the chat below and tell me. Let me straighten out my cards here. Here we are with Bruce Maxwell. Don't really know who he is. All I know is that he was drafted by the Athletics as a number 2 second round. And haven't really heard much from him. So maybe a wasted draft pick. We will see in the coming years. Eduardo Nunez had a good postseason. 2018, the World Series champions, Red Sox. Jorge Polanco made a terrible error that probably killed the Twins' season. It didn't actually lose. It lost them the game, but it didn't lose them the season. They lost the next day to lose the season to the Houston Astros. Nick Markakis made the All-Star game this year. Been with the Orioles and finally had a breakout season. He's been good every year, but never great. And he had a great season in 2018. Reflected in him making the All-Star game. Erwin Santana been with the Royals and the Braves previously. And he led the league in shutouts with the Twins last year, 2017. With 3, which is not bad. Matt Adams had a breakout season this year, 2018. They actually had to move Freddie Freeman to third base this year. They couldn't. They did win the division, but they lost to the Dodgers in 4 games. Dodgers went to the World Series, lost to the Red Sox. Martin Prado, been in the league for a long time, 12 years to this point. Recently with the Marlins, he used to play for the Diamondbacks and for the Yankees. From Venezuela, and career average is 291, which is solid. Solid, not Hall of Fame, but probably better than I could do. That's hard, 291. Garrett Richards. Angels pitcher. Not really much to say on him. He was drafted first round. Don't think he's played out as much as another draft pick Mike Trout has. It was not the first round. Wait, he could have been. Check that. Let me check that for you.